Why do some people make empires while others barely make a ripple? How do some start with nothing, no followers, no resources, and make it into something huge? I used to wonder the exact same thing. I'd see people building brands, making an impact, and I wanted to know, what is it that separates the ones who rise from the ones who get stuck? So, I started studying. I wanted to understand why some people create brands that people remember, that make an impact, even when they're starting from scratch. And after many hours, here's what I found. It's not luck, and it's not even talent. It's three things: clarity, consistency, and relentless commitment to creating value. So let's get into these things, because that's a lot. Step one is mastering clarity. Now I get what you're all probably thinking. Why does that matter? Can't I just dive in and figure it out as I go? Well, let me tell you a story. Before Nike became the powerhouse it was today, it used to just be a couple guys selling running shoes out of a car. They didn't have everything figured out, but they did have that one thing, a mission. Nike was about bringing out the best in every single athlete. That vision was so clear that it guided every single choice that they made from that point forward. From the shoes they designed to the way they marketed themselves. Studies show that brands with a clear purpose are more likely to connect with their audience and convert them. An Accenture study found that 63% of customers prefer to buy from brands that reflect their values. That's why clarity matters. It gives people a reason to care and a reason to trust. The funny thing is, even though there's people that won't reflect your values, you actually still sell more because people that do are stronger customers. That's why brands like Andrew Tate succeed like crazy nowadays, because although many people don't agree with his messages, those that do are die-hard customers and loyal followers. Defining your values tells your audience what you stand for, and when they buy, they share in that purpose. So here's your starting point. Grab a pen or grab a phone and write down your vision in one sentence. Maybe you want to bring more positivity to someone's lives, or simplify something complex, or bring healthy habits to others. This doesn't have to be the perfect mission statement yet. Just make it real and make it honest to what you stand for. Maybe it's about love and connecting with other people. Maybe it's about leaving memorable experiences with others. Whatever it is, just write it down, because this is going to be your guiding star. Once you know your vision, step two is being consistent. This is where so many people fall short. This is because as things get tough, results don't come fast enough, and so they lose momentum. But the truth is, consistency is what separates those who succeed from those who simply try. Think about it. How many brands have you bought a t-shirt from or a service from, and all of a sudden they've disappeared within a few years? Maybe they launched with all the energy in the world, but they just couldn't keep up. They didn't stay visible. They didn't stay reliable. Consistency is that glue that holds everything together. There's a psychological principle behind this called the mere exposure effect. The more we see something, the more we trust it. That's why Coca-Cola has kept the same colors, the same tone, and the same consistency for over a century. They understand their message, and their familiarity breeds trust. So here's how you apply this, even if you're starting from zero. Pick a schedule, any schedule, and just commit to it. Maybe it's an Instagram post once a week or a full YouTube video every Sunday. It doesn't matter how small you start. It matters if you keep showing up. I've also studied algorithms with my marketing agency like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and these companies reward users for posting not more each week, but at the same schedule and repetition. Their videos get pushed out further, and they get more views, more traffic, and more audience just because they stuck to their schedule. There is technical as well as mental benefit to having this habit. Consistency isn't about being perfect, it's about being present, about building trust one step at a time. But consistency isn't everything. You need to pair it with something powerful, something that people can notice. With that said, let's talk about identity. If you think about the most powerful brands, they don't just have a product. They have a feeling, a presence, an energy. Look at Tesla. Tesla didn't start with mass marketing, and they didn't start making cars for everyone. In fact, you probably never will see a Tesla ad. They had a bold vision and a brand identity that makes them feel like the future of transportation. Tesla wasn't just about cars. It was about changing the world and its transportation. People are attracted to Tesla for its ingenuity and its futuristic vibe that puts you in that position of being ahead of the curve. People find Tesla because they want to associate themselves with that feeling. Those types of customers are who they want to buy their car anyway, so why would they market to the masses? Studies show that a strong brand identity can increase trust up to 33%. Loyola University found that the color you associate with your brand can increase visibility by 80%. Color as a whole has such an incredible capability of instilling an emotion because we associate it with certain other things in our life that have that color. For instance, red and yellow for McDonald's may symbolize burgers, fries, ketchup, whatever it's gonna be. And so when they use that in their logo, you associate it with the food and you start feeling hungry. Picking that right color allows your brand to look cohesive and stands out by associating itself with the message you want to present. Your brand identity is what people remember you by, and how you present that makes an impact on whether or not they choose to purchase. Start simple. Choose 2 to 3 different colors, a logo, and maybe a font style if you're feeling ambitious. These visual elements will form the backbone of your brand's identity. Nowadays, you can type the title, the logo, the font, or even ask for suggestions in ChatGPT, and it can tell you what image your brand is likely to present to customers, and you can tailor that as you will. Don't worry about hiring a designer yet. Stop spending money. Just go on a free tool like Canva and play around with something until you get a general idea. You can always hire a designer after that point when you know what you want. These visuals are going to be the cornerstone of how people remember you and recognize you in a crowded market. You want to be that person wearing pink in a crowd of black and gray because it makes you stand out. Just make sure the rest of your brand backs that personality to make them feel included. So you got your clarity, your consistency, and your identity. Now let's talk about content. You need to stay visible if you want people to remember you, but content can simply feel overwhelming. Where do you start? How much do you post? Where do you post? What sounds do you use? So here's my advice. Start with a content plan that's simple, manageable. The important part is you training your mind right now. When your mind drops into that valley of despair, you want it to feel confident that it's already handled situations in the past. The faster you scale up your content production, the faster you're gonna fall into that valley. But if you're slowly incrementing, you know you've handled and succeeded with these tasks in the past, so the extra workload doesn't seem as bad. Top brands use content systems to stay consistent. Write this down on a document, as well as how you're going to use your logos, colors, and identity that you came up with to support your brand. Maybe you're gonna use your yellow color as the background for every post, or maybe you're gonna use your Helvetica font on every single title. Whatever it is, have a documented plan so that way when you feel discouraged, all you have to do is stick to the plan instead of motivate yourself to figure it out. The majority of reasons I see brands fail and people fail on their content is because they feel like they don't trust the system anymore. But when it's laid out in front of them or printed off on a sheet, it's visible. Studies from the Content Marketing Institute found that 72% of companies that document their marketing strategy will guarantee better results. Why? I just answered it. A documented plan keeps you actionable and accountable. If you're starting, I'd recommend picking 2 platforms that give you the most visibility with your target audience. To do this, pretend you're a customer. Pretend you need copywriting services or you need personal training services. Where would I go? What would I research and who would I find to give me those results? If it's Facebook, then search the biggest names on Facebook. If it's TikTok, look at the biggest TikTokers with a course. Write down how they have their offers structured as well as their biggest posts and recreate those strategies. You can honestly just copy and paste their post with your image and your music once or twice a week and call it good. Honestly, if you just did that, you are probably about 80 to 90% guaranteed to see similar results to them over the long term. Don't overcomplicate it is the biggest message. Start with what has worked for other people and make it your own. Another big tip, batch your content. Take one day a month or one day a week and create a ton of posts. I used to do this on my TikTok. I would create what's called series. I would sit down and record 5 different videos on how to scale your company or how to identify your target customer, and they were all related. You can use Buffer or Later or built-in app tools to schedule these posts as well. This way you can stay visible without having to create consistent content, and you can go back to the schedule you deserve. Now, let's get into how to boost that. I know a lot of you are starting with limited budgets. It's hard to succeed when you're just beginning because money's tight, you don't have clear goals, and you don't know what to spend your money on. So I'm not gonna tell you to spend big, but once you've got just a little bit of traction, the smallest investment in ads can be a huge difference because it starts that snowball effect. On top of that, even putting $5 of ads on a post each week can allow the post to have more views, which means the algorithm is going to recognize that and push it out as a more popular video when the ad is done. A video with 10,000 views is still a video with 10,000 views, so other people that see it want to see other people saw this video and liked it, and the algorithm knows that. This also helps you get really good at identifying your target market. I say this in almost every video, but turn your Instagram or small social media accounts into professional accounts so you can figure out who is actually watching your videos. For instance, I know 78.4% of my viewers are men and between 18 to 26. So creating content for them, or you if you're watching, allows me to target my stuff directly into your feed so you guys can see that and pick up on what I'm about. Going back and retargeting to the same audiences that worked is essential, so that way you can double down on what's worked for you before, because you already have a proven recipe. Now it's just remaking it. If your end goal is to promote a link, a course, a service, whatever it is online, then retarget your ads, because studies show they have a 10 times as high click-through rate, because the people already know you and you know these people. So if you're ready to take that first step, then start small. Especially if you have a partner already, don't tell them you're taking half the food budget away. Take $5 to $50 a month or more if you want, and just start putting it into the right ad campaigns. You're gonna notice huge changes in your following, engagement, and more. If you're advertising the only post on your account in 8 weeks, then why would someone follow you if you don't have more content coming out regularly? So again, being consistent is the first step in this. Here's the final piece, and we're going back to a previous step. You're gonna go through days where you feel like no one's watching, where you doubt yourself, and where results seem way too distant. But here's the best part about that. All the brands that you admire also went through that, and they succeeded. Amazon took years before it was profitable. Look at all the old footage of Jeff Bezos in his small office selling books. Tesla nearly went bankrupt. These companies didn't just make it by luck. They took their success one step at a time. Now here's my locker room head coach speech. Consistency isn't just about showing up. It's about showing up when it's hard, when results aren't coming, and when you're tired. That's when most people quit on themselves and the winners separate themselves. Remember that story where the founder of FedEx put all of the money on black to save the company from going bankrupt? Sometimes you have to take risks too. I wouldn't recommend those risks, but trusting yourself to find a way out of the hole is what makes it happen. Now here's the formula. Determination will get you from A to Z, but consistency is your insurance. If you're ready to take your journey further, if you're ready to see results beyond what other people do, then join the Ascend Collective. I understand these lessons are difficult, and that's why I started the community and the foundation for free. It teaches you how to master your mindset, your social presence and relationships, your body, your spirit, and your physicality, and finally your finances, and getting you in the position to actually take action on these steps and make the business side of your life profitable and realistic. You go through these 4 courses for free, and at the end you have the opportunity to work with us and start building the business side. Too many of you don't have determination, you don't have grit, and it's so hard to even get started because you feel like you're trying, but in reality you're at level 1 where everyone else is at level 99. If you want assistance and you want to be in a community of people that are dedicated to the same purpose, then check the link in the description and join the Ascend Collective. It's the best decision you will make for yourself. Now, you have the roadmap. The steps to go from 0 to real. You know how to build clarity, consistency, and create a brand identity. You know how to set up a content system and amplify your reach. But here's why it matters. Building a brand isn't about business. It's about trust, creating value, and making a bigger impact. And that comes back to reward you with money at the end of the day. Whether or not you think you're ready, the first step is the decision to commit. But whether you take that step or not is truly up to you. The choice is yours.